what I hear. That final insult to our woman.
Oh my goodness, I'm giggling to myself.
Menopause.
Welcome!
Love the kitchen lights.
Do you love them? I love them. I do. I really, really do. They bring me joy and happiness. So before we jump right into it, because girl, we got a tight time limit and I have
Yeah.
so many questions for you.
Okay.
So first, let's introduce you. Tell us where we can find you, what you do, all the goodies about you.
Okay. I am a midlife woman health coach, integrative health practitioner. I'm at Jessica Green Wellness. That's my website name. That's my Instagram handle. I help midlife women regain energy, reignite their passion, and feel vibrant again. And I do that working one-on-one, and I also have a group program. I've got a masterclass coming up next week. It's free, so you can pop over to my website, click the banner link, or go to my Instagram. Yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm really passionate about this because this stage in a woman's life from like 40 to 55 is just like there's so much going on, and there's not a lot of, there's more now, but you know, when you look at any research studies, it's like there's this big group of people missing from it. They always avoid that midlife woman because our hormones are just they're kind of fluctuating all over the place for a while. And so it's really hard to sort of like normalize any research data. So like we have like this whole group of the population that are totally omitted from like research studies about anything that you could possibly imagine. So I'm really passionate about helping this group of ladies.
So you answered my first question already without me even prompting you. Because girl, I want to know. I want to know why. Why don't we know? Okay, so why is it that I went through my whole life thinking that menopause was my reward for like 35, 40 years of period? Why did nobody tell me it was gonna suck though?
You know, I feel like definitely in my mother's generation, but I think it's just trickled throughout that. Like even now, a lot of women don't talk about menopause. They don't talk about their menopause journey. Some women will, you know, obviously have like these hot flashes, things of that sort. Maybe they'll bring it up, maybe kind of jokingly, maybe kind of brushing it under the rug. Other women will just totally suffer in silence. And then some women just kind of float through perimenopause and menopause because they've done a lot of things to balance their bodies, or maybe that's just how they were built. So it's really interesting. We see this great big spectrum, but there's been such like you might have grown up not knowing about menopause, or the only thing that you knew about menopause was that it sucked. And don't get old.
I had no idea. Even that, I didn't even know it was going to suck. Like, I knew hot flashes. Everybody knows hot flashes, right? And the other day, I had an ironic thought. And I thought, do they call them a hot flash because they come and go quickly? Or do they call them a hot flash because they make you want to rip off every piece of clothing you have on and run around like a crazy?
You know, I'm not sure, but I'd like to think of them as like a momentary tropical vacation.
Yes. Me and my friends, we call them tropical moments. Not, although I do deal with humor. I went out and I bought a pen that says still hot, but mostly flashes.
I love
that. Because cheers. But one of the things that I love having you here for, that I want to really kind of dial in today, is some of the symptoms that people don't know are associated with menopause, because this one hit me in the face really hard. So I have all of a sudden been getting really sharp shoulder pain with totally regular range of motion. Like, I'm not straining, I'm not overstretching. I just reached behind me to grab a something and this huge shooting pain. And then I came across something that said, that's menopause related. I mentioned that to my sister and she said, oh, great. I've been telling my doctor for the last 10 years that I have shoulder pain and nobody told me it was related to my menopause. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there are I want to kind of precursor this. Okay, so there are a number of symptoms that you might just lump in a category of menopause. But if you dig down deep enough, you'll get a much clearer picture of exactly what's going on. So
Okay.
I'll take you back when I was in my late 30s. I was totally stressed all the time. Like I was just a go getter. Late 30s, gosh, what was I doing in my life? Oh yeah, I was running an office, director of an office. I was I'd wake up in the middle of the night checking email, that kind of thing, right? And so at that time, I was running just on fumes. So what I was actually doing to myself is putting myself into like an early perimenopause state. And what that felt like, yeah, and what that felt like, and I came out of it, it was fine. But what that felt like in the moment was typical perimenopause and menopause symptoms. It was the brain fog, it was the weight gain around the midsection, it was all of a sudden low thyroid.
Mm,
So low thyroid, that's a big one. It's tied to sex hormones.
okay.
I felt like my muscle mass was kind of waning. Like that could be like another thing. Like you just don't feel like that. Other things could be just a lot of like having trouble connecting your thoughts to your words. That's a real nuanced thing, but it could feel really frustrating. It's like you're going crazy, you're going insane, like you're getting dumber. And that is
It feels like
seriously,
pregnancy brain. Like I remember pregnancy brain and it feels very similar to that. Like I have the thought in my brain and I know the word, but there's just that little piece in between isn't piecing and my words don't word and my thoughts don't thought. And it is frustrating. It's super frustrating and it makes me feel real dumb. So
yeah, yeah.
my friend Candy says she has itchy ears and her hips are suddenly aching any time of the day, weight gain with no changes in diet or activity. And her and I, we've been doing the same diet for years and years. So I saw the weight gain too, even though nothing has changed. It kind of settled in my middle and it wants to now. And
Yeah.
she wants to know, why is it so hard to find information about perimenopause? Because my ladies are looking, but dang, you got to hunt.
Yeah, there's so much information out there. And here's the thing. One of the first things you might see is just advertisements for HRT. And a lot
Okay.
of those will be like synthetic HRT. Oh, take HRT for perimenopause. Here's the problem with that though, is that your hormones could be fluctuating quite a bit throughout this
Yeah.
perimenopause phase. So just imagine you've just slapped a bunch of hormones on that. And then all of a sudden, your spikes become crazy spikes, your lows just feel kind of normal. So what happens to a woman like that is that you might feel like, oh, I'm taking this, I was feeling good, and now I'm feeling like crud because it's all wrong. So the approach that I take, and there are other women out there like me, practitioners like me, who really take a more natural approach. I feel like, you should be able to move through perimenopause pretty easily, but you have to make adjustments. It's kind of like if you don't know about the adjustments that you need to make, then it won't feel quite as good. So there are a few things that are happening. When sex hormones go down, it could affect your thyroid. And there is quite a link between your liver and your gut as well. So like
Okay.
if you think about your liver, your gut, your sex hormones, your thyroid, all kind of interconnected, and then your stress hormones, cortisol. So the adrenals produce the cortisol. Your adrenals, though, are the thing that's going to really take over the production of sex hormones after menopause. So post-menopause,
Okay.
your adrenals are it. So right now in perimenopause and menopause, like this is the time that you really need to take care of yourself, calm that nervous system, cut out some of the things from your to-do list, give them to somebody else. It sounds so crazy because at this stage in life, you could be juggling career or building a business with taking care of children, or maybe your children are getting ready to like apply to college. So there's a lot of things on your plate. To tell most women, hey, you've got to start chopping off that to-do list sounds
Yes.
nuts. But setting boundaries is so incredibly important at this stage of life to calm that nervous system. Other things that could really help is like clearing the clutter. That really helps to clear out the, like, calm the nervous system. Other things,
Yes.
just some mindfulness practices, some journaling, not letting those, you have these thoughts that you kind of chew on again and again, like ruminating thoughts, right?
Yes.
You've got to notice the ruminating thoughts and stop them. And sometimes I would use a rubber band. When I was starting out, I would use a rubber band and I would just snap it to bring myself back into the present. It's like a little sharp pain brings you back to the present. I mean, don't go nuts with a rubber band or anything. Don't like give yourself welts. But so that's one piece. The other piece is the liver. So going back to the liver, your liver takes T4, which is inactive thyroid hormone,
Okay.
and changes it into T3. So going back to my stress state, when I accidentally put myself in perimenopause, totally nutso, right? I was super stressed. My thyroid numbers were kind of okay, but then they weren't looking okay because the stress just lasted forever. It was like a decade of crazy stress. So what would happen is that in the liver, and if you're drinking alcohol in order to calm your nervous system, of course that increases
Yes.
anxiety. But the other thing that it does is it makes it so that your T4, thyroid hormone T4, doesn't convert into the active form T3. So all of
Okay.
a sudden you feel like you could have normal T4, you could have normal TSH, but then your T3 is low, and then you're wondering why you're feeling so bad.
Okay.
And those symptoms can be the exact same things that you would experience in perimenopause. So you could see, like, you could be a stressed out 30-something-year-old and get into like perimenopause or perimenopause like symptoms because of a low thyroid and because your adrenals are going nuts with overproducing cortisol and then not producing enough cortisol. So that makes us really tired. Um, when your thyroid is low, you'll also gain weight. Your metabolism slows down, your body cools off. All of a sudden, you're really cold all of the time. So, total opposite of the hot flash, you'd start there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, and that one I'm always generally I kind of run cold to begin with, but it's being more. So Candy said that she I already know she's very clean, low carb, keto, mostly carnivore-ish. She keeps really, really good with that. She had a hysterectomy 16 years ago, but she still has her ovaries. And she just can't really get a doctor to listen to her with the insurance she has to get, proper testing to figure out what's going to help her. And Abby always, my light heart says, oh, stress, get my husband to do more. Got it. She can mark this point and be like, they agreed. You have to do more to lower my
yeah,
stress. Done. Bet. Love it.
yes, yeah,
Candy also says she definitely never drinks any alcohol. She's highly allergic to soy, so that's out as well. She's pretty even tempered, but currently she's having to take care of her two parents with dementia, and it's stressful. So her cortisol is off the roof, her stress level is off the charts, and what can she kind of do to start mitigating some of that? Because we can't
yeah.
wave a magic wand and fix that. But what are some things that she can try to maybe ease some of that?
Yeah, for sure. So a few things. Always take care of yourself, take time for yourself. So she's got all of these responsibilities, but you know what? You got to be able to step away for a period of time. It might be little 10-minute sections of time. It might be you get an hour of your time, depending on what her situation is, if they're in a home versus with her. Um, she's got to carve out just that time to recuperate and do absolutely nothing or do something that fills her cup. So that's one thing. Another thing that I would recommend is herbs could be really powerful at this stage too. So anyone who's really stressed, whenever you're looking at menopause or perimenopause symptoms, you have to support the adrenals. And the way I like to do that is with rhodiola and eleuthero. And you
Okay.
might find those in some adrenal soothe type products, which could be really nice. I wouldn't get them separately. Like I like a combination of those kind of
Okay.
herbs. Those could be really powerful. You have to take enough, and you should take it in the evening time, because the evening time is when your cortisol level starts to drop, and that's the time that melatonin starts to come up. If you find that you have trouble even winding down with the herbs, then taking some amount of melatonin for a set period of time, you wouldn't do it nonstop. It would
Okay.
just be a tool. So I think about the herbs and the melatonin as a tool to help you get through like a difficult period, or so that you could calm that nervous system just enough so that you could do all the other things that help you calm it without that support. So I think about those two things. Another thing that I think about is CBD infused drinks are really nice.
Okay.
30 milligrams usually kind of calms the nervous system. It won't affect your adrenals like
Okay.
the eleuthero and rhodiola. Those will actually affect your adrenals. It'll help to rebalance them. So if you take the calming things at night, it could actually help boost your cortisol levels earlier in the day. And you want that. You want them high in the early part of the day, and then they start to taper off while melatonin starts to come up. So CBD will just calm your nervous system. For most people, this works. Some people can experience some anxiety from taking a CBD drink. And we're not talking about the THC part, just the CBD
Okay.
itself. Everyone is going to be different. So, you could take my advice, but if you're feeling anxious after taking one of these herbs, then just know that that herb isn't for you. So in what I would do
Okay.
also, I would always do one thing, change one thing at a time. Another thing that you could do that's really extremely helpful for all the ladies out there that are stressed is taking magnesium. Taking
Ooh, okay.
magnesium at night will help with bowel movements, which you want because you want to detox your body. And it will help it helps with cognition. And depending on the form, there's like magnesium, I want to say threonate, and I might be getting this wrong. So there's many forms of magnesium. Some of them help with cognition, some of them help with relaxing your muscles. This could be really good if you have any cramps. So if you're
Okay.
feeling particularly tight, even with a shoulder pain, I would totally take magnesium, see if that kind of
Okay.
just solves it. Yeah.
Cool. Do you know what? I'm willing to try anything because it comes out of nowhere and it doesn't even make any sense. Like if I was overexerting myself or if I was lifting, so I would understand. But it's just general, regular range, normal things you would do. And that's what I find frustrating.
Yeah.
So Abby says, have any tips for low libido? Thyroid tests are normal, good, and her relationship isn't the issue, just saying, because of the stigma with it. What do we do? And honestly, this I feel in all the parts of my soul. Like I was the libido queen. And now I just don't really seem to have any, and not in a bad way. I'm just like, man, it's more effort than I really feel like doing. I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
You know, I feel like for me personally, I would say that there are certain things that really, it's all mental for me. So things that really get me going, it's like my husband cooks cooking dinner. You know, that would,
Yes.
yeah, totally.
Save
Like
this
if
part,
he's cleaning
Ab. Save this
something,
part. Like, he's
yeah,
cooking dinner and chores now. Like, woo!
yeah, yeah, that's like enough to like, oh yeah, he's hot, right? And the other thing though that you could do that could really be beneficial too is you could take like either a progesterone cream that's going to be from wild yam. So never take
Okay.
progestin. Progestin isn't a nice thing to take, but you can also use just wild yam essential oil, and you could
Okay.
take just a couple drops and you could rub them on the like your bottom of your feet, or you could rub them on under your arm. It gets absorbed really quick. You would do
Okay.
this at the second half of your cycle. It'll help boost progesterone. That's very calming. Sometimes we just need to be calm in order to feel more in the mood for some, you know, loving. Then the other thing that could really help with libido is testosterone and DHEA. So for testosterone, just building it naturally would be literally lifting weights
Okay.
and eating protein, which of course you already do with the keto
Yes.
diet. So eating plenty of protein throughout the day and then lifting weights can help boost your testosterone and DHEA. DHEA is actually a precursor to testosterone and
Okay.
estrogen. So you could even take like 5 milligrams of DHEA, so long as you don't have any other signs or symptoms of like elevated androgens. So, you know, you don't have PCOS type symptoms, for
Okay.
instance. That could be a really nice thing to try to take.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? I did used to have really bad PCOS symptoms, but not anymore. With changing my diet, eliminating, the higher carbs, the processed
Yeah.
foods, the sugars, the inflammatory oils, all those things, I was happy to be rid of those. And I will say that I do feel like taking good care of myself mitigates some of what I would go through in this process. I feel like it could be worse. I
Oh, yeah.
complain a little, but I feel like it could always be worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
got a
for
couple
sure.
more questions.
Okay.
Okay, so Abby says more reasons to start lifting again. Yay. No libido, no in I can't see what that word says. Doctor said best part of aging, and you had 3 babies. Oh, this one is now Candy. Candy says no libido, incontinence. Doctor said part of aging, and you had 3 babies. Just do Kegels, lose weight, exercise will help, and that actually made it worse for her.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, for her, what I would suggest then is, yeah, and this would really need somebody who specializes in the pelvic floor and strengthening the pelvic floor. It's not just like Kegels. There's something else going on, and she would really want to focus on exercises that are
Okay.
very specific for strengthening the pelvic floor. That's what I would start with for her. Like I
Okay.
would direct her in that
I'll
side
help
of.
you research that, girl. We're gonna find you that. We're gonna find you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anybody else have any other questions? Because our lovely Jessica has another appointment right directly after. So we have only 5 minutes left. This is your 5 minute warning. We all know sometimes Dory chats, we run over, but we have
Yeah.
5 minutes left. So if you have any questions, fire them in the comments. Also, I'm going to make versions of this for her and for me that you're going to find other places where I will tag her. So if you're watching this on the replay, please feel free to ask any of your questions in the comments. I will find her, tag her. I'll help you find what you need. And I would love to close out by allowing you to have a couple minutes to talk about what you've got that's up and coming, where our ladies can A, get some more information, B, follow you, and C, just support everything that you're doing and help get more information out there.
Thank you. Well, let's see. I do have the masterclass coming up, and the masterclass is
Okay.
just about sustainable weight loss and improving your energy levels. So I'm keeping it really simple, 5 steps to do both.
Okay.
Definitely invite all the ladies to go check that out. The other thing that I'm going to be relaunching yet again, I ran it all last year. It's been renamed though. It's my Vibrant Midlife Mastery Program. And that's a 10-week long program. You have more than 10 weeks to finish it, of course. I mean, it's just open. And so that's going to be launched again just shortly after the masterclass. So I'm really looking forward to that. I do offer functional medicine lab testing.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
ladies, if you're
Tell,
having
tell.
trouble finding really good doctors or data, this lab gets shipped directly to you, and it can get shipped everywhere except for New York and New Jersey. Sorry for anyone
Okay.
in New Jersey. They just have rules against functional medicine labs being shipped in. So I have that to offer. That's actually an addition to the mastery program too. So you could do either. You could have it separated or you could have it with the mastery. Insurance doesn't really apply for this test. I'm so sorry to say that, but you do have it. So it is available to you. And then I would provide you with very specific recommendations based on that. And I've had a lot of good feedback on that. And the great thing about that is that then you don't guess. You look at the data and you say, okay, well, this plus my symptoms equals this approach that I would take with you.
Well, and I think that's invaluable. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would be willing to spend the money to have that done. They're going to pay money to have the testings that they can't convince anybody to give them anyways. So I think it's a great resource. Once we sign off, I'm going to get you to send me whatever link you have to attach to everything. That way, no matter where somebody is watching this from, they can just tap and find you, find a link to you. And thank you so much for your time. I absolutely appreciate it. And I feel like this is part one of many.
Oh, I love this. And it's such a pleasure to chat with you. And I really do like your disco light in the backgrounds and your unicorn outfit. I mean, how can you not appreciate that? I really dig that. So I'm kind of inspired. I feel like I should get my own little onesie. You know? Yeah.
Yes. Team
Yeah.
Onesie. Absolutely. Thank you so much again. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining us, everyone. Stay tuned so you can get all the links. Bye.